A missing mom, strange texts, and a trash can buried in a backyard. What really happened to LaDonna Williams? What police uncovered in a Jacksonville rental home was darker than anyone could have imagined. Welcome to Love and Murder, Heartbreak to Homicide, your Florida Man Friday edition. Hi, my name is Kai, and if you're new here, take a seat, take a load off, take a listen all the way to the end, and if you like it, don't forget to subscribe. If you're a returning lamb, as I always tell you, thank you so much. I look forward to retelling you these cases, and I look forward to hearing your comments on them. So thank you, as usual, for joining me. If you didn't know, you can also subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Love and Murder. You could actually become a Lamb Patreon for free. You don't have to sign up to be a sponsor, but if you did want to sign up to be a sponsor to help me keep these cases going, to help keep the victim stories being told, to get bonus episodes, case extras, and so much more, then you can sign up to become a sponsor of Love and Murder by just going to the Patreon and choosing one of the bonus tiers. Patreon.com/Love and Murder. Now, let's get into your Florida Man Friday. On April 20th, 2022, the quiet neighborhood of Allendale in Jacksonville, Florida, became the center of a gruesome discovery. A rental property owner was getting his house ready for new tenants when he found a trash can that had been partially buried in the backyard. Inside the trash can, he found human remains. He immediately called the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, and within hours, homicide detectives had arrived on the scene. The remains belonged to LaDonna Williams, a 41-year-old mother of 3 and grandmother of 3. She had last been seen in February 2022, and her family had been desperately searching for her. Her daughter, Tammy Williams, said, quote, "When I found out it was my mom, I was shocked. She was a very good mother. She was a good mother to all my friends, my siblings as well." In February, LaDonna's son had filed a missing persons report after she failed to answer his birthday messages for her 41st birthday. When he finally received a text from her number, it just didn't feel right. The messages didn't sound like his mother. They were all requesting money. Like, smooth. Way to James Bond the crap out of this. Whoever's doing this texting, you were just like, hey, send me money. What was the thought process behind this? But if you're going to commit murder, then yeah, your thought process is completely off anyways. And then when her son started asking the sender personal questions that only his mother would know, they couldn't answer because her son wasn't an idiot. Applause to him. Quote, "I was stressed out all the time. I would think about her constantly. I would look for her. I would try to ask for help." As it turned out, by the time those texts were sent, LaDonna had already been dead for weeks. Investigators quickly turned their attention to Nathaniel Slade, a 43-year-old Florida man with a violent past. Nathaniel was not just any suspect. He was LaDonna's former supervisor at a home repair company, and he'd been living in her rental home where her remains were found. But the real motive behind the murder wasn't even work-related. According to police, Nathaniel killed LaDonna because she was trying to help his girlfriend escape from her abusive relationship with him. Nathaniel was controlling and violent towards his girlfriend, and LaDonna had been offering her a way out. When he learned about this, he snapped. Nathaniel's girlfriend told investigators that he stabbed LaDonna in the chest in February 2020, and after that, he forced her to help clean up the crime scene and dispose of LaDonna's body in a trash can outside their window. Quote, "I had to do what I had to do. She was disrespecting me." This is what he'd told her. According to Assistant State Attorney Brooke Milo, he, quote, "buried her in the trash can and then slept with her body outside of his bedroom window for some period of weeks before he left the house." And by left the house, I mean move out. So he just left the trash can there with her body in it for some weeks, and then he moved out. So by the time the property owner found her remains, her body was decomposing in the Florida heat. I forgot about the Florida heat. Oh my God. And it's just in a trash can. How bad did that smell? And I'm not saying that to disrespect the body, but it's just, if you've ever been to Florida, the heat and decomposition. Oh, I can't even imagine. In September 2024, a jury found Nathaniel guilty of second-degree murder. By this time, though, Nathaniel was already serving a life sentence for an unrelated case involving attempted first-degree murder, armed burglary, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. So basically just a repeat offender. Now, I do have a question. Do you think people like him could be rehabilitated? Now, this isn't a sarcastic question. I'm really curious if it could or has happened. Let me know in the comments below. He pled guilty to those charges and was sentenced. For LaDonna's murder, Nathaniel received another life sentence, ensuring basically that he'll never walk free again. At his sentencing, LaDonna's family stood in court to make sure the judge and jury knew exactly who she was. Her other daughter, LaDonna Williams, said, quote, "My mom was many things. She wasn't perfect, but she was our mom." Another family member added, quote, "She had a lot of life left, kids to finish raising and grandkids to help raise." LaDonna Williams wasn't just a name in a courtroom or a victim in a crime report. She was a mother, a grandmother, a daughter, a friend. Her loved ones described her as strong, independent, and full of love. And as usual with these cases, not only do I try to get the person's story out there, but my podcast is also about teaching and alerting. LaDonna's murder serves as a painful reminder of the dangers of domestic violence and the risks taken by those who try to help. Not that we're saying not to help, but always be vigilant and careful. Her son, who spent weeks searching for her, now hopes that his mother's story will not be forgotten. And if you or someone you know is in an abusive relationship, please reach out for help. I know in my other cases, people who have been in domestic violence situations and have gotten out of it have said, don't say just leave. It's not that easy. But do reach out for help. Speak with someone. And there are resources available and you don't have to go through it alone. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. Or you can text START, S-T-A-R-T, to 88788. What are your thoughts on this case? I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried to help somebody who has been in a domestic violence situation? Or have you ever been in a domestic violence situation and has reached out for help? And how did that work out for you? Please let me know your thoughts or your stories in the comments below, and it'll be read off in a future episode. So you've already heard my comments, and I want to hear your comments. And speaking of your comments, let's go through a couple of comments from a past Friday episode. So this one comes from an episode titled, "Delivery Driver Stabs Pregnant Woman 14 Times Over a $2 Tip." Yeah, that one was freaking crazy. And username Butcher Pete said, "Oh my God, if you're broke and need tips, maybe, just maybe, other people are too broke to tip big. Just saying." I mean, at least they tipped, right, Butcher Pete? Like, at least they tipped. You could have gotten nothing. But you do know tips are optional. Like, we don't have to tip. I know in this country people are shamed for not tipping, but tips are optional. That's why you should have a paycheck. That's why servers should be getting a regular paycheck. We shouldn't be paying their check. We're already paying for the meal. Tips should be optional. And as usual, whenever I read off a comment and I mention in an episode, because you might not have heard that episode, or you might not have remembered that episode, I always post the link to that episode in the show notes below, so you can always click on that episode to hear the craziness of that case. And we'll do one more comment. This one came from the case titled, "Former DCF Worker Arrested for Child Abuse and Murder of Adopted Daughter." This was the case of Diane Natasha Mack. And Amy said, "Emancipation means free of legal guardian, etc. Do you mean emaciated body was by the door?" Yes, Amy. And I did answer this one. I was cracking up because, look, I'm not perfect. My brain was working too fast. I do know the difference between emancipation and emaciated. Thank you so much for the correction. I was cracking up when I read your comments because I was like, I can't believe I did that. So, listen, I record Then I listen to the episode while I'm editing. Then I re-listen to the episode just in case I missed something. And I still missed this. Can you believe that? I still missed this. But yes, I didn't mean emaciated. Thank you so much for the shout out. Thank you, Amy, for listening. And if you didn't hear that case, as usual, the link to that case is in the show notes below so you could hear me mess up and say emancipated. And that is all the comments that I have for you. Please go ahead and if you like the retelling of this case, leave me a 5-star review on whatever platform you're on if you're able to leave a review on that platform. The reason I ask for the 5-star reviews is it does help me out. People are quick to leave 1-star reviews for crap. Oh, I didn't like how you said the word birthday. Literally has happened. But I get all my compliments and all my 5-star reviews in email format instead of leaving it on the platform. Now, I'm not saying I'm not grateful for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm very grateful for all of your support, every comment that you leave. I just ask that you leave a 5-star review for me that takes 5 seconds, please. That does help the podcast out. And it's just a free way of helping the podcast out also. But either way, if you don't want to leave it, I'm not complaining. I'm very happy to have you here. I'm very happy to be talking to you every week. Either way. Also, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Love and Murder. You could do that for free, or you can become a sponsor of Love and Murder to keep the cases going and to keep the victims' cases coming out and get their stories told. Patreon.com/Love and Murder. As usual, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a lamb. Thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.